right, guys, we are back. Another bomb episode coming your way. My goodness. Welcome back to the Keepin It Real Estate Podcast. Again, I am your guy, your host, sold by Jarrell Fields, the Prince of the City, crowned by Terrence Guest, my guy. That's what they call me, so I'm going to claim it, right? But we are here today, man. I got a very special guest. This guest was supposed to be here season 1, season 2, and now it is season 3, and she finally has time to be on the pod. But not only that, we got a lot to talk about now. Girl, if you don't put your phone on vibrate.
Oh, God. Don't get me.
Quiet on the set.
Quiet on set.
Right. But no, just messing. We got a dominant one in the industry right now, guys, and super proud to have her on the podcast. Super proud to have watched her growth and to contribute a little bit to, you know, she's called me before, asked me questions, you know, but I love making a positive impact on people, and this guest right here never shies away from letting me know how positive I've affected her career. So give it up for the one, the only Bre Gaither.
All right,
of BG Luxe Realty.
Standing ovation, please. Oh my gosh, I'm actually excited to be here, Real. I know it's been a long time coming, see all the seasons, but I'm glad to be here. Yeah. I mean, I've been seeing the podcast. I've been seeing the highlights. Yes. I've been seeing it grow. So, I mean, I just feel blessed to be in the room, you know, just blessed to be in the room. But honestly, like, you know, you are right. I literally have called you. You gave me insights, and now I'm on your platform. So I'm honored. I'm ready to have some fun, and like, let's get into the details.
Let's do it, Bre. Man, you are an amazing person. And then you've only been in the business, what? How long?
6. It'll be 6 years, end of March.
Nice. Listen, I while we have the time, let the people know who you are. If they don't know who you are by now, as they should, but let people know who you are and all things Bre Gaither.
Yes. Well, first of all, my name is Bre Gaither, broker owner of BG Luxe Realty. It is my 6th year in the business, dominating in first year as broker owner. You know, I started just like everybody else, you know, just trying to find my way in this field. And I quickly realized that there was a void. So I wanted to fill that void. I wanted to automatically like learn luxury, learn investments, and really stand out with marketing. So for me, marketing day one, I mean, before I ever sold a house, before anybody knew my name, I had on a suit, I had a photo shoot. I hired your guy. He did my first photo shoot, and I just ran with marketing. So literally day 2 as a real estate agent, I was getting calls from people because I dropped my marketing information on social media. So I've always used social media as a platform. I've always been unapologetic. I am a twin, the youngest of 4. You know, I am the heavy hitter in my family. I'm the one that gets the job done, and I am the legacy builder. So I bring that grind, that love, that grit into my business and into my agents, and we get to flourish, we get to grow together. And honestly, y'all, I'm just getting started.
That's real. I mean, 6 years in, that's still a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, like a 6-year-old walking around, they don't, you know, they learned something or they did something, but they not there yet. No,
still a baby
agent. You a twin?
I am a twin.
I had no idea.
Nobody really knows that. That's a fun fact. I am a twin. My mom had 2 sets of twins.
Really?
And me and my twin were 6 minutes apart.
Wow. You older or younger?
I'm the youngest.
Nice.
But I'm like the big sister of the whole crew.
I had no idea. That's cool. Bre, what about real estate just kind of brought you in? I mean, 6 years ago, height of COVID. Everybody's getting into real estate 2020. What about real estate that brought you to it? And then how do you stand out? I mean, I know how you stand out, but what led to that?
Yeah, for sure. So before real estate, I was doing customer service as well as like tech support. So I worked for Bank of America for like 6 years before I started. And I was making about $75,000 a year. It was a okay salary to make, and I was working with people who are twice my senior. So shout out to all my old coworkers, 40 years old, 50 years old at the time, even sometimes 60 years old. And I just looked around one day, Real, and I was like I don't see myself being 50 working here.
Yeah.
Literally, and it really, I used to think about it every day, and then I started reading all these books, and I started like strengthening my mind and my knowledge. And every book that I read, one of the main pillars had to do with real estate. All the rich people, everybody talked about real estate. When they talked about how they gained their wealth, real estate, real estate, real estate. So I kept seeing that. And I had read like 25 books that year within the year and a half. And I was like, okay, well, clearly, Bre, you need to learn real estate. That's just what it is. If you want to get rich and wealthy, because in my head, I'm like, hey, I have to do something different. You know, I don't come from money. I got to make the money, and I have to create legacy for us and me. Get rich, get wealthy. How do we do that? Real estate. So I learned real estate, and ideally, I never necessarily even wanted to be a real estate agent. Like, I just wanted to learn real estate investing and like all the pieces to that pie. So I wanted to be an investor. I remember having a conversation with my best friend. I was like, hey, we need to get into this real estate game, like yada, yada, yada. She was like, okay, cool. I was like, well, let's start from the bottom up. Let's learn all the details. Like, we were both supposed to take the class. So I literally immediately signed up. I was talking about it with my best friend, my coworker, and my coworker was like, I'll take it with you. Shout out to Nikita. She said, I'll take it with you. I was like, wait, really? So we took the class, and I just wanted to learn literally from A to Z about real estate. So, you know, while I was in school, I got my first deal. So got my first deal, bought my first house. I hired a real estate agent that was kind of like a friend of the family. Not a good experience. As knowing what I know now, not a good experience. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm definitely going to get my license, and I'm definitely going to do things different, and I'm going to cut out the middleman because I saw how much she made, and I felt like I did all the work. I mean, she got like $10,000 off of me, and I'm like, hold up, we're going to cut that. We are literally going to cut that. So that's when I got my license, and, you know, after closing on my first house, I said I didn't feel special at the closing table. My realtor told me, hey, I'll stop by your house this week to drop off a bottle of wine.
Never came.
Never came.
Of course not.
You know, never came. So I remember feeling that way. Like, I had spent all this money buying this house, and I felt like, shit, you know what I mean? I didn't feel celebrated. And that's when, number one, I said, when I am a realtor, I'm going all out. For my clients, I'm making them feel special, and we're going to do it a nice luxury way and make sure that they know that this is a big deal.
Love it. What's one of the books you read?
So, Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
That's a good one.
How to Win and Influence People. You know, I mean, I can go on and on, but those are some of my favorites for sure.
One of the first books I read when I got in the industry, no matter how you feel about this person, The Art of the Deal is a really good book.
I've heard of that book.
It's a really good book, and not too much promo on it because of who it is.
Because what's going on.
but that I will say that book was influential in a lot of strategies and stuff I learned. So that's cool. Rich Dad Poor Dad was a good book too.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm an audiobook kind of guy.
Yeah.
So the audiobook of Rich Dad Poor Dad was good.
You know, I could never get into audios. I try to now because I'm so busy, but I literally am a visual person. Like, I can remember words if I see them. So I like to flip through the pages. Put my feet up, flip through the pages.
I love that. So you got in the industry, you create this luxury experience. What was that first deal like?
Oh, man. Brittany was my first deal. I'm not going to say her last name, but I'll never forget the deal. And I'll go back to kind of like how I got that deal. I was heavy on social media, not really knowing a lick about real estate for real. But I mean, the suit said it all, or whatever you want to say. And so I strategically, when I first started, I added all these groups. I just put myself out there, marketed everybody. So before you knew it, within the first couple of weeks, people were tagging my name, looking for a realtor. Everybody was tagging my name. So that's how I got my first client.
Wow.
She made a status that she was looking for a real estate agent. I had like 15 people tag my name.
Wow.
15 people as a new agent 2 weeks in.
Jeez.
So she reached out to me. She said, hey, everybody says I should work with you, so I want to work with you. And it was literally like that. I called her on the phone. I said, hey, I introduced myself. And the next 2 days we were seeing houses, her and her family. And I think we seen about 4 houses. They made the deal on that one. And she was pregnant. So, very emotional transaction because, her landlord at the time, they were like living in a mold infested house.
Ooh, okay.
So they were really in a rush.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, I talked to this other agent and, she said that I couldn't close in 30 days. I say, listen, we're going to find you a house this weekend and you're going to close in 30 days. Like, right. This is confidently saying, I ain't never did it before. I ain't never did it before.
Yeah.
And the thing is, she didn't even know that she was my first client.
Yeah, they should never know.
I'm big on that.
Yeah.
I tell the agents all the time, nobody needs to know that you're new.
Nobody.
Why? You know what I mean? So I never told her that I was new. And even years later, when I told her she was my first client, she was like, get out of here.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So we go through the transaction, and it's very tough because every day she's fighting health issues and everything because she's living in this mold. And I even was like, you know what? I almost said, girl, just come with me. You know what I mean? Until after closing. Yeah. But her whole family. So we got that done. I think we closed in about 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And at the closing table, this is why I don't ever forget it. At the closing table, or actually after the closing table, because it was COVID, I couldn't go to the closing table.
Yeah, that's right.
So I met them. That's what started the meeting them at the house type of thing.
Yeah.
I met them at the house after closing. The house was fully decorated. I had all these gifts. I had this big welcome home sign when they walked in and in the driveway. And she just gave me a hug and she fell into my arms.
Yeah.
And she just boo-hoo cried.
Yeah.
I had on a white shirt. My shirt was wet by the end of it. But she just boo-hoo cried and she said, Bre, you saved my baby's life.
Yeah.
She literally said, you saved my baby's life. I did not want to have this child in this house. Yeah. And I'll never forget those words because, at the time it was like, okay, wow. But when I look back at it, it's like, this is big. Yeah. We're actually doing big things in people's lives. It's every day for us because it's like our career. Yep. But when someone tells you saved their life, I mean, that'll never leave me. You know what I mean? So just me being a good realtor, me finding them a house, getting them out that house before she was, having her baby, it saves her life, her family's life, her baby's life. So awesome. That's the first deal for me. Yeah.
You think that'd be like your most meaningful deal?
I wouldn't say that would be the most meaningful deal.
Yeah.
I would say my most meaningful deal would be my own personal deal. Yeah. I bought my grandmother's house after a lot, after she passed away, after the family fought for it and everything. And, I still don't talk to my family, some of them, throughout that situation. Yeah. But it was meaningful because it was the first time that my father was beside me at the closing table.
That's cool.
He doesn't own a house, nothing like that. He got to see his baby not only do her job, but buy the house that I grew up in and that he grew up in.
Man, that's dope.
That, I would say, that is the most meaningful deal that I've ever had, for sure.
Bre, you got so much passion and so much, just will to provide such a quality experience. Where does that come from? Who is Bre Gaither, and how did you get that?
That's such a good question.
I told you to turn your phone off.
Turn that phone off now.
Chill out.
Quiet on stack.
What am I doing? I could have sworn. Oh, you know what? I had it on vibrate, and I pressed the button to turn. My bad.
Quiet on the stack.
Hey, that's how you do it. It's called a callback. That's what comedians do.
That's
what comedians do. They tell a joke and then they call it back and then bow. That's when they end the show. I ain't ending the show though, but that's what it was. So yeah, my bad. Yeah, now that we did that and I made you feel comfortable.
Got that out the way. Okay.
Got that out the way. Gotcha. What makes Bre Gaither? Because it's not normal to, because it sounds to me like you enjoy the process possibly more than the paycheck. I mean, the paycheck is always a good plus, but it sounds like the transaction means more to you than the job itself.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I always say that I'm not transactional. I'm relationships based. Yep. sometimes a lot of people have all these automations, like automated text messages during the transaction and all of that. I don't necessarily believe in that during the transaction. I like to say, hey girl, you know what I mean? I like to be personal, and I like to know your story. I like to know your children's names. I like to know your favorite color. Like, I like to tailor everybody's experience so they don't forget it.
Yeah.
Because I remember how it felt when I didn't receive that.
Yeah.
But who is Bre Gaither? You know, that's such a loaded question. It's just such a loaded question. You know, the experience derives from just always wanting more. You know, when I was a child growing up, we didn't have a lot. But, you know, I did have other sides of my family that I saw things. I saw my aunt rolling around in a Mercedes. I saw my uncle, you know, retire from the military. I saw these different things that were in other households, but our specific household we did not receive.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted it. You know, I've always wanted to experience it. You know, I was raised by my grandmother, so it was 4 of us, and she was doing the best that she could.
Yeah.
And I would see these things, and I always was like, that could be me. And my mother always told me, whatever you want out of life, you can get it. Like, what do you want? She would literally ask me, like, who do you want to be? What do you want? You know what I mean? And she's like, you can do whatever you want to do. So I live my life like that. And, you know, I'm a firm believer. I say this all the time. Like, if I see it done, that means I can do it.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody else is doing it, not to copy, but if I see a black woman president, right?
Yeah.
That means I can, you know, I can be a black president, period, point blank. So, you know, that experience, it just comes from wanting more and just wanting to experience the finer things. And, you know, I know that I'm not the only one. So when I meet clients, I want to give them that small piece, whatever it is, I want to give them that small piece, something that they'll never forget.
Yeah. The power of the older generation telling us that we can be who we want to be and what we want to be. I think that's a double-edged sword, right? Like, we grew up in a generation where we were told you can be whoever you want to be. Now we're trying to be whoever we want to be. And the older generation's like, y'all need to do this.
Y'all need to chill. Do this,
like, you the ones who told us that we could be anything we want to be. So I love that, you know, and that's one thing I love about our generation is we are, no matter who you are, everybody, I think we're all gravitating towards some sort of entrepreneurial background. Not out of like necessity, but more so out of, man, there's something in the back of my mind that's telling me I'm bigger than what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be there because of how we grew up.
That's
and all of that is subconscious.
That's
you know,
a fact.
we were always told that we could be who we want to be and do what we want to do. So I love being able to see other people walk in that purpose, man. It's huge. And even in this industry, right? I talked about it the other day about same thing, finding a void and filling that void, but not even realizing how big of a void it was until you find other people that believe in what you're doing.
Insane.
Right? So now you own and operate BG Luxe Realty. What led to that? Let's talk about that process.
Okay, yeah. You know, so I'll take it back to just like reading books. Like I've always been, at heart, I've always been an entrepreneur. So even when I was working at the bank, and before that, you know, I was a trainer at my other job, and you know, I used to, you know, sell weight loss products. I used to repair credit. You know, I used to sell candy in school when we take it all the way back. You know what I mean?
That was me. What kind of candy you sell?
Listen, Skittles. I had the M&Ms. I had both types with the peanuts as well. All right, I had a variety.
Bre, I gotta stop you real quick because I just had this conversation with my son the other day. So that was me.
Really?
My mom, and I don't mean to cut you off because we're gonna go back to it. Don't lose track. Just remember where we are. But I had to tell this story because you brought it up. My son, I told him, I was like, man, you need to sell candy in school. Like, he's like, hey, he's like, this kid sells candy in school. He made $100 last week. Wow. So I said, Cam, that ain't enough. I said, let me break down that $100. So we talked about supply and demand. We talked about revenue versus expenses. All of this stuff. Like, I said, that ain't enough. I said, let me tell you what I used to do.
Okay.
Man, I had a locker. I kid you not. And I hope some of my high school friends and middle school friends are watching this, man. I used to have a basket in my locker. ROTC kids used to have the chocolate that they would walk around with and sell.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't nobody want that damn Hershey's? So I had a basket in my locker, Skittles, Starburst, Lifesaver gummies, fruit snacks. I had all of the stuff that people didn't see in the vending machines.
Right.
And I had the price list on the side of my locker. So I would open it.
Okay, price list is next level.
I was there. I was all in, Bre. I'm telling you. So the fact that you brought that up, I had to say that because people, when I tell people that, like, they like, you sold, yes, I sold candy in school.
Listen, slanging packs of Skittles.
It got so bad. My parents was like, hey man, you ain't asked for no money in a long time.
Like, what you got going on?
My dad used to check my eyes. Like, you smoking? I'm like, nah, I'm good.
No, I'm good. Just taking care of home.
Just taking care of home.
But
all right, my
literally,
bad. Go ahead. I had to tell that story. Go ahead.
If you didn't listen, selling candy in school builds character.
What?
All right?
It does.
Literally, you are
you gotta
a born
hide
hustler.
from the person. You gotta hide from the security. You can't let them know you selling the candy.
Because it's not legal in school.
Man, and then ROTC, if they found out you was selling candy and they selling candy, what?
I know, it was a strict program.
Operation Shutdown.
It was a strict program.
Trail selling candy out of his locker. Man, what? Y'all some snitches, bro.
I'm stuck on the price list now. I wasn't that.
No, that was me, man. That was me, man.
I literally. So how much was the pack of Skittles?
I couldn't even tell. I feel like it was like $1.25.
Right.
I feel like everything was $1.25 back then because the vending machine was $1, and if it wasn't in the vending machine, I had to charge 25 cents. Supply and demand.
Come on,
you know
supply and demand. Learn that early. Same in real estate. Yep. Listen, you know what's crazy? When I say that, some people are like, selling candy in school, like, why would you do that? True hustlers. Let me tell you something. Right. I used to do candy apples, and my mom was in on it. Like, she would make the candy apples.
Well, who you thought bought my candy? That's when Sam's Club and BJ's was built. Who you thought bought my candy? Okay.
Listen, no cap. If my sisters are watching this right now, they can attest.
Yes.
Like, we used to sell the candy apples, everything, and we got food stamps, so it was all profit. Okay, it was all profit, literally all profit. But yes,
sorry.
Right, let's circle back.
Bring it back. My bad.
Always been a hustler, even down to just an early age, and literally. I done lost my train of thought.
I told you not to lose your train of thought. But we're talking about BG Luxe.
There we go. Yeah, come on now. We can't forget about BG Luxe. So yes, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always not liked listening to people, to be honest, right? That's just what it is. I always have my own mind. They've always said that I always beat to my own drum, all of that stuff. So, when I was at my old job, literally, I got into real estate. I completely left real estate. I completely left Bank of America. 2020 is when my mom died. So I took about 5 days off. They give you like 5 days of bereavement. Yeah. And, on that 5th day, my boss hit me up. He was like, why you not at work? Not, how's everything going? What can I do to help? And this is my boss. I sat right here. He sat right there. It's not like just a virtual. No, he knew exactly who I was. He knew throughout my work period that I would take off early to go see her at the hospital, just all the things. So he knew the journey. That one text message is another text message that I won't ever forget. And I said, Bre, you got to do something. And you do not need to be in this position ever. Because technically he's telling me, get your butt back to work. I don't care what you're going through. The
world don't stop.
Period, point blank. And it's true. The world doesn't stop. Yeah. And that reality hit me like a ton of bricks. And I never went back because I had too much pride. I didn't text him back. I immediately called HR on him. And I said, this is what I'm going through right now. And they said, absolutely not. So I literally took like 6 months off and never went back. Yeah. Literally gave it all in real estate. And this is where we are now. So years down the line, I've been to like 5 firms. I've been to big firms. I've been to luxury firms. I've been to diverse firms. I've been to small firms. And I quickly learned that there was a little piece missing from every firm, in my opinion. Small firms, it wasn't big enough for me, I felt like. I didn't have enough access to the things that I wanted. Then I go to a big firm. I'm too black. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. Like, I'm too black.
Right.
Or, I take up too much space or whatever that looks like. And, I actually was at a luxury firm where literally I remember like posting something on social media think I posted like me like in a dress, like doing like a champagne toast or something like that. It was like something that I always do.
Yeah.
And my broker in charge immediately, like she was always the first one to look at my stories, but never talked to me. You know what I mean? Never talked to me, but always looked at my stuff. Didn't even know that she knew who I was, to be completely honest. And I remember everything that I posted on social media, it got back to the meetings, like all the time, as if I was like doing this crazy stuff on social media. And she said to the team lead that I was working with at the time, you know, basically Bre doesn't represent the brand properly. You know what I mean? And I've always been this. I've never been anything but this. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't show leg. I don't do none of that stuff. I'm not doing all of that. I've always been professional. I may have a little bit more body, but I've always been professional in how I step into a room and how I act, right? That has never changed. So, you know, honestly, I've been to multiple firms, probably about 5. I've been to smaller firms, luxury firms, big firms, virtual firms, and, you know, I noticed there was something missing out of each firm. So as a new agent, I jumped into like this cloud-based firm. Broker in charge changed really every month, literally. I couldn't even name any of them, honestly, because it switched so much. And to speak with your broker, you had to go through all these different chains of commands. And I was like, wait, is this how this goes? So I instantly was like, okay, I need to go to a small firm. I need to be able to speak to people and see people. So I went to a small firm. And it was good. It was valuable because the broker in charge, she was very smart. And she knew her systems. And that is one thing that I took. So I took a little piece from every firm that I've been to. You know what I mean? But I noticed how valuable systems were. Even though she was small, she invested in our systems, and I took that piece. But then after a while, I felt like I wanted to grow. I wanted to get bigger. I wanted to get more known. You know, there was something inside of me that, like, somebody told me early, and I wish that I remember who told me this, but, like, everybody needs to know your name. Literally. And I ran with that. So I started being in all the rooms. I started networking. I started meeting all the builders, you know, all the agents, because for my first 2 years, I kind of stayed in hiding in a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't outside as much as I am now. And, you know, I left that firm because I wanted something bigger. So I went to, you know, a luxury firm. And what I thought I was looking for was luxury leads. You know, I want to be, because that's what they promised. Right? You know, these firms will promise you things. That's why I tell people, don't listen to anything.
They're going to tell you whatever they
You got to talk to somebody that's actually there doing it.
Yeah.
Because they will promise you the world. Yes. And give you the dirt. You feel what I'm saying? That's just what it is. That's just what it is. So I went to a luxury firm, you know, one of the biggest firms, and I went there, and it was going good at first. We had all this nice marketing material. That's what I grabbed from that firm. Marketing. Right? Marketing, you know, the pretty books, the listing presentations, the everything, the custom templates. I grabbed all of that marketing and I put it in my brain. Okay, I like that, right? So, but with that firm, you know, I was minority. I was on a team, and it just always felt a little uneasy. You know, for example, sometimes you walk in the room and the room gets quiet. All right?
Been there.
It was just loud. But the room gets quiet. And you're like, Hey, guys. And hello there. Hi, it's me, right? And, you know, it was like that every time. Every single time. And then I started paying attention to when I came in office to do things, because they offered a lot of free things. You can print all this stuff out for free. Everything was free in the office.
Until you used too much of it?
Until I used too much of it. Until I was the one in the office every day doing my presentations. And now there's a lock on it, right? Now there's a lock on it. Now they're suddenly out of all the things that was presented to everybody else. For free, right? Caught on to that early. I will walk in the room, I will walk in the office, because I've always liked to dress up. Coming from my background, like going to the office every day with Bank of America, I loved getting dressed, right? So I brought that to real estate. So I would come in with my high heels on, and people would kind of like look at me like, who does she think she is? And I felt that. And every time I would leave the office, my team lead would text me, was like, hey girl, like, I don't know why they're tripping, but they're saying this. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do now? Literally, what did I do now?
Yeah.
Every day there was an issue with what Bre Gaither did.
Yeah.
As if I was like this crazy person,
This
like
poison.
doing like this poison, right? That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like this poison, like she's come in here and she's disrupted our peace. That's how I felt. So, you know, we had this team meeting, and my team lead at the time, she was a white woman. There were a lot of other black women on the team, and, you know, she said, hey, we need to have a team meeting. This is urgent. And we were like, okay. And she said, hey, I don't know what's going on, but they said that Bre's not representing the company property, and they want me to dismantle my team immediately. Immediately. We didn't have any time to prepare. Literally, I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, what do we do? What's going on? So she was like, I don't know, but this is BS. And honestly, I just think they have a problem with you, Bre. To have a problem with me, I don't even know what happened, right?
That's
to this day, I still couldn't even tell you, because there was no like argument. I can't even remember the lady's name, right? Yeah. But there was just not a love for me there.
So BG Luxe started out of a need or necessity of finding your peace.
Exactly. So I said, again, I didn't like that feeling of like being pushed out or not being wanted. So I said, it's really time to create your own thing.
Yeah.
So that thought came very, very early.
Yep.
Even though I didn't instantly create it then, immediately I knew that, okay, this is happening in the industry, and it just happened to me. So in the back of your head, you need to be finding your exit strategy.
Yep.
I'm always thinking about an exit strategy in everything that I do. Yep. Relationships too. But
hey, what y'all do these days?
So anyway, long story short, because I will break it down, but long story short, you know, I felt that unwanted feeling, and in the back of my head, BG Luxe silently grew. Yeah. And years through the making. So I started off as like a team. So I went to another firm. I had to scramble, went to another firm, and I started a team. It was me and my old partner.
Yep.
And, you know, upon growing that team and just working directly, I was like, you know, I see me as a firm owner. I don't know how long it's going to take. Ideally, I was like within the next 5 years, right?
Yep.
So I said, okay, let me try this one more thing. I went to another firm because I wanted to learn more luxury. Still wasn't my home, right?
Yeah.
Still wasn't my home. Still didn't feel. Some of those rooms got silent when I walked in there too. But I noticed the respect level started to grow.
Yeah.
Because you said this in your panel, you know, so success transfers, right?
Yeah.
The work transfers. Yeah. So they can't deny the work.
Yeah, hard work translates.
Hard work translates.
Thing.
That's what you said. I realized, oh, they respect me. They want me to come make the money because we're making the money, but they're also silent when we walk in these rooms. All right. I even reached out to you and I was like, this ain't my home. Yeah. Do you remember that?
Do I? Yeah.
I said, this ain't my home. I was almost at New Orleans. Okay. Literally. I'll be honest, if I could do it all over again, like if you had New Orleans when I first started, I would have joined. You know what I mean? Because knowing what I know now, that's probably what I was looking for, like when I first started. Right. Yeah. But, you know, left that firm and literally, so at my last firm prior to BG Luxe, I created a team. And I realized that what we're doing on this team was far beyond what the actual brokerage was doing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. The systems, the knowledge, the experience. Yeah. I literally came to a firm and I brought all of my systems, all of my ideas, and I noticed, I'm like, wait, y'all ain't doing this? Like, yep. Nobody's ever used a transaction coordinator. Y'all don't know what this is. Yeah. It was crazy to me because I went there to learn more things, and I felt like I was the one like teaching more things, right? So at that point, obviously, I told the ladies, I said, listen, I'm creating this firm. You guys can come with me, or you can find another team to go on. Yeah. Those are your options. They said, we going with you, like period, point blank, because we were learning so much, and I felt like, you know, why give my money away to a firm if I am not receiving value? Yeah. And that's the bottom line. Long story short, guys, if I am not receiving value, but I'm paying for value and not receiving it, I am wasting my money and I'm wasting my time. Right? So that's when BG Luxe formed. And, you know, a lot of people told me not to do it, except you. A lot of told me not.
Who said what? Who said what?
Except you, literally. So many people told me not to do it. You know, even a lot of my friends, it sounded crazy, just all the things. But I went out on faith and I said, I'm going to start small. So for the first couple months, I didn't want to hire anybody because I wanted to get things together. And now we're at a point where, like, the floodgates are open, darling. Okay.
I saw the post. Now hiring. I said,
now hiring. I wanted to take my time because I don't want people to come to a firm and they feel like, oh my God, like we don't have it all together. I wanted to make sure systems were good. I wanted to have the proper people in place, and also make sure I had the bandwidth to support.
Yeah, transparency, man, it's key.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And, you know, we're growing and, you know, I don't know what the future holds, but I do like the space that we are in.
Success.
That's just what it is.
That's what it holds. Anything you touch turns to gold.
Hello.
So I'm a firm believer that you're on the right path. And the reason I was the one to tell you to do it is because people fear what they don't understand, right? And because I'm in that situation, or I was in that situation where I was asking myself the same questions, the only next step is to start your own thing.
That's it.
The things you're looking for don't exist because you haven't created them yet. And I say that so many times. I told that to Austin and Desiree before they did their own thing. I told it to you. It does not exist because you haven't created it yet. It has nothing to do with any external anything. Noir didn't exist. People join and they go, this is why I love this firm, because this is nowhere to be found. Of course, because it wasn't created.
I created it.
So you just gotta. I love that you believe in yourself, and I'm again appreciative of you calling me friend and me calling you friend, and you taking my words and running with it, because watching you grow has been amazing. So I support you. And any agent that thinks I don't support us is crazy.
I mean, insane.
It's crazy. Insane.
You know, a lot of people. Literally, I think some people didn't even know that you and I had our relationship because this industry is so crazy, right? It's just so crazy. It's like we've never played against each other. Ever. No ill intent. Like, if anything, like, you support me and I support you. That's just what it is, right? And that is very transparent. We put that out there. And I think because we're both like small black firms that people try to like make us play against each other, right? And I'm the first one that's like, it ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my brother. I'm his sister. Like, none of that's happened. I can call him right now. He can call me right now. You know what I mean? And I think that in this industry, you don't see a lot of that. Right. I mean, we're on a podcast right now together, like your podcast. And
both of us own our own businesses, and we both sell houses, and I'm promoting your business on my podcast.
This is a fact. So that should tell you all you need to know, right? I mean, literally, that should tell you collaboration over competition. Some people say that, but actually don't really do that. Right? You know, sometimes you're in these rooms, and you spoke about it earlier, you see these people 1,000 times, but they don't even speak to you, or they act like you don't know, they don't know, or whatever the case may be. You know, we were at a panel, and when you wanted to speak, I said, this is the broker in charge of New Wire Group. Give it up for him. All right? Because people need to know. If you already know, well, let's hear it again. Right? And that's just the type of person that I am. So, I mean, I just appreciate who you are because you do the same thing.
Yeah, always. Bre, man, great conversation. I hate always cutting off these podcasts, but you know, people's attention span suck. But if you could give 2 pieces of advice, 2 golden nuggets, or even just one meaningful piece of advice, what would it be to any agent that's starting out right now?
To any agent that is starting out, I would say shoot for the stars. I would say big yourself up, right? Because some people say you may be too pompous, or, you know, it's not all about you. Your business is about you. People need to know who you are. So invest in the knowledge, invest in the marketing, right? And whatever marketing level you're on. So, for example, like if you can't spend $500 a month, start with 50, right? Start somewhere and just learn as you grow. And don't be scared to start. It doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of agents are like, oh, but it's not perfect yet. It does not have to be perfect. Even when it's not perfect, I want you to start. And even if you are not dealt the cards, like a lot of us, we don't come from certain backgrounds.
Yeah.
Even if you are not dealt the cards, you can still win the game.
Yep.
Remember that. I'm going to say that again. Like, even if you do not have all the tools, the resources, you can still create, you can grow, and you can still win. Because if you don't stop, you keep going. And if you keep going, you eventually win the race.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. No, that's cool, man. It's always good to hear bits and pieces of advice from other people. Because, I mean, everybody has a similar story. But people always see the beauty.
Yeah.
They don't see the beginning. So I always try to take people back to the beginning. What's those 2 pieces of advice? All right, last thing. You get to ask me one question before we finish.
Oh, man. Wow. Let's see. I would say, I feel like I've asked you this before, but
you probably have.
Let's see. I need a juicy one for you, Real. I need a juicy one.
Well,
all right.
Go ahead,
I want to ask 2, but okay, I'll start.
Well, we'll see how quick I answer the first one.
I'll start with 1.
Okay.
Because you tell your story a lot, being, minority in this business.
Yep.
And I actually found you years ago. I was scrolling on social media, and I saw this black guy closing all these deals, like literally.
Yeah.
And I saw you literally just taking pictures at the closing table, and I saw you and Terrence do a walking video or something like that.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, I like this. I like him. I like the way the video got me. I was like, I like this because I didn't see that often. And I like the collaboration. I was like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? So I followed you, and I quickly realized, like, okay, you've been in the industry for a while. And one thing that was always constant was your story and you being unapologetic, right?
Yeah.
So with all of that, with your experience, now Noir, what do you say your biggest lesson was throughout your entire career? And how does that translate every day in your business?
Good question. Biggest lesson is always be myself. Right? Be myself and trust God's way. God showed me a lot along my journey. And I'm talking lows, talking highs, everything. But trusting that journey and always being myself always made it easy for me to adapt in any room. Because I didn't have to change who I was when I stepped into these rooms. People either liked me or they didn't like me. And that still exists to this day, right? Is you either like me or you don't. But what matters is the work. I'm going to keep saying that, right? Hard work translates. So if you give me an opportunity, again, our slogan is find out why we're different. You give me an opportunity, you'll see why hard work translates and why I'm so successful at my job. That's always been something that I've learned as a kid. Just be yourself. Nothing. It's harder trying to be somebody else than it is to just be yourself. So that's probably the biggest lesson is be confident that you have all the tools to do the job.
Nice.
I think that's really it. Just be yourself, man. People, especially in this day and age with social media. I think the beauty of when I started in the industry, Instagram was 3 years old when I got in the industry, and they were still 7-second videos, this, that, and the third. So growing my business, I had to be very intentional about what I presented. Whereas now you can just be whoever you want because you can do a 3-minute video, you can do whatever. But for me, coming up in the industry, I had to post all my closings. I remember going to Costner Law. This is no joke. I remember going to Costner Law. I was a communications major, production. This is what I did in college.
Yeah.
So this is all I knew. My very first closing, I brought a camera to. This was 2015. Cameras were not in the closing. They had to find out if I could bring a camera into the room. And I remember telling Ashley Cameron, that's my dog, Ashley Cameron with Costner. I remember telling her, I said, I got my phone. Why I can't bring another camera in here? If I wanted to record from my phone, why I can't? She was like, you know what? You're right, yeah.
It's a good
Bring
point.
your cameraman. So I won't say I was the first to bring a camera into the closing table, but I will say I was early enough to where the attorneys that I did business with had no idea if it was even legal.
Wow, that's a fun fact. That's a fun fact because I thought I was one of the first, but that is such a fun fact. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I still have my first closing day video, but and I did it. The purpose behind doing it was because I needed proof. What I was doing. My very first closing, the clients didn't know they were my first closing either. So what I needed was, all right, they see me doing these walkthroughs and these tours with people, but they don't see me at the closing table. Right. I need people to see that I closed the 100%. Deal. So instead of a picture, I wanted a video of them signing stuff. Yes. So it was literally just you wake up on a whim and like, you know what, I'm just bring a camera. I brought the camera. I didn't have a cameraman. I brought the camera. I wasn't even in my first closing video. It was just me shooting stuff.
Wow.
So, but yeah, like I said, I was so early with it that they didn't even
know if it was legal.
Costner Law, Andrews, something, I forget the company, but I remember my first, Andrew Adams, my first 3 closings were at these big firms, and all 3 of them were like, I don't know if that's legal.
That's crazy. Yeah. What year was that?
2015.
2015. Wow.
2015.
That's
Instagram
insane.
was only 3 years old. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it was so early in just the production side of Instagram. Yeah. Like, Vine was still a thing. You know, so it was like nobody was checking for, Instagram wasn't build your business.
Right, exactly.
It was social media. I remember my first picture on Instagram was my son in his bassinet. You know what I mean? So it's like the Instagram had not grown to what it is now. So being myself and being who I was, and I knew what I could bring to the table, the production side, like that's all it was. That's really it.
I love that. I really love that. That's such a fun fact. I'm glad you said that because a lot of people. And I've experienced that even 5 years later. I remember bringing my cameraman, to a closing, and the attorney looked at all of us and was like, what is going on? Yeah. Literally just like that. Yeah. I said, we're doing a closing video. Yeah. Smile for the camera. Literally, I just, because it was kind of like it was too much for her. Yeah. And I said, clients, are you guys fine? And it was a couple that didn't look like me and they loved it. Yeah. And they texted me, it was like, what is with this attorney? Yeah. But to your point, like the fact that you were bringing cameras 5 years before that says a lot. And it says that you were just ahead of the game, ahead of the time.
Again, I won't say I was the first. I'll say in this area, it was not common to post it. And again, I'm always trying to be different.
Right.
And I kept seeing everybody do photos. Yeah. And I was like, nobody's doing video. Everybody's taking pictures of their clients at the closing table, but nobody's doing video. And at that time, IGTV, that's what it was. IGTV was the only time you could post. You remember that?
I do remember IGTV.
IGTV was the only time you could post a video longer than 7 seconds. 15 seconds at the time.
That is so throwback.
So IGTV.
That's crazy. You just literally gave me a whole little history. That's insane. And so I know we're wrapping this up, but that brings me to my testament. When you asked the question, I don't feel like I answered it earlier. Like, you know, what about this experience and all of that? Yeah. I saw a void, how you said, you know, you didn't see cameras. I didn't see like celebrations and mini housewarming. So like now what people do, I feel like everybody does it now, but like meeting the clients at the house, having food and having the decor and all of that stuff. My very first closing, I was doing that literally. And I had my photographer, I had my cameraman, I had the video, literally. And what I would do, all the photos that we took, I would send every client a photo book because I used to work for like Shutterfly. I would send them a photo book of like all the things throughout the transaction. But I noticed early on, like doing that extra stuff, it made your clients feel famous and feel like royalty. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that is where kind of like my red carpet experience came from. Yeah. And people would literally reach out and say, hey, Bre, I want my closing day video too.
That's the best part. When your future clients call you or your clients that are closing, they go, do I need to dress up? You go, for what?
100%.
I'm like, for what? And they're like, for the photo, for the video. You're like,
Listen, and then don't let them, what color are we wearing, Bre? I mean, I'm like, okay, we getting into it. I love that.
I love it.
Okay, so that's one question. My second question would be, I want to bring in golf because I feel like certain sports and certain rooms puts you ahead of the game, right? Okay. So what do you say? Because I know you've been playing golf since you were a kid, 7 years old. So what do you think golf did for you, your life, in your business?
Everything. I wouldn't have even gone to college if it wasn't for golf. I wasn't planning to go to college. I didn't even know you could play golf in college, right? So my dad being so far ahead of the game, my dad was, when I give people an example, I always talk about my dad, but when I give people an example of who my dad was so smart. He worked a government job. He saved up enough PTO days to where he could take his last year off of work and get paid. So this is how far ahead my dad, this is how he operates.
Christ.
Yeah, so with a government job back in the day, you could save up PTO days and carry them over. So he carried over enough hours and enough days to where his last year of work, he could take it off.
Wow.
But I say all that to say my dad was so smart that he knew that Jarrell wasn't going to college unless he got it paid for.
Right.
So he got me paired with the golf coach at Winston-Salem State 2 months before school started.
Nice.
And we played in the charity golf tournament. And by the time we finished the round, I was on the phone with financial aid, getting a scholarship. So like even just that aspect of being able to get a scholarship to go to college, met my wife there, like things like that. But golf has done so much for me, putting me around the right people. My first luxury deal was from the members at a club I used to work at when I was a pro. So the outside of the life lessons golf has taught me, just because it's such a parallel between life and the sport itself, man, golf is the reason I'm here with this microphone in front of me and successful, because 75% of my business comes from my golf network.
Wow.
So it's, yeah, I mean, I could go on and talk about golf. Golf is what made me who I am today, and I don't shy away from it anymore. I embrace it.
Yeah.
People love being associated with me because I'm good at golf, and whatever. But yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother
because
podcast.
It's golf. What's the name of the other?
What, the channel?
Yes, golf.
Charlotte Golfer. So
Charlotte
look,
Golfer.
hey, if you're following this and you don't follow my golf channel, you're crazy. The Charlotte Golfer, and it's LIT instead of LOTTE. But yes, even that channel's blowing up to the point where people are embracing it. And
literally,
I'm a little golf content creator now. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, I love that for you. I feel like, because you've been playing it for so long, since you were 7.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, and you said it's putting you in certain rooms.
Yep.
It's giving you $1 million deals, I'm sure.
Yep.
Made deals on the golf course. They always say the best deals are made on the golf course.
Yeah.
For those who are watching, and I feel like golf is a luxury, in my opinion, right?
It is. It's expensive.
It's expensive, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if you don't attach yourself to a room that you would like to be in, for example, like, I mean, I've swung a couple clubs and all of that, but I'm not a golfer, right?
Yeah.
But find your niche, right? Find whatever room that you should be in. Like if you feel like your $1 million client is on the golf course, you need to be learning golf.
Hey,
all right.
for real.
If you want to work with athletes, you need to be going to some games, all right, and standing out. So for those of you who are kind of similar to me, like I didn't grow up playing golf, or I didn't grow up with like certain things, you can literally still get in the room, right? It's never too late to start certain things.
Yeah.
It's never too late to go to these country clubs.
Yep.
Because a lot of people are like, well, I didn't have this, or oh, yada, yada, yada. That's why I asked you that. It's not about what cards you were dealt with or equipped with. As an adult, you have to go out there and get it, period, point blank. So if you want to sell $1 million house, you need to be around the people that are buying $1 million houses. You can't necessarily be at the rec center every day in the $200,000 price range if your goal is to get to the $2 million price range. So I would say this, coming from no previous luxury or whatever, like I grew my brand and I started stepping foot in those rooms where the money is. Yeah. Period, point blank. And I slowly started seeing it pay off. I slowly started seeing it work. Guys who like watches. Okay, I got my Rolex on. Let's talk about where'd you get yours. Just being a part of those conversations and being relatable. It's not like you're fitting inside anybody's box, but when you want to know more, you have to be around more, right? So, I mean, that right there. Anytime you talk about golf, it gives me chills, because a black man playing golf will always have my respect, because at one point in time, it wasn't your sport.
No, not at all.
I bet you still
I was about to say, I'm telling you, it's a whole nother podcast. Don't you do it?
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Don't you do it? That's a whole
Y'all
nother.
about to see me again on part 2. All right, part 2.
Part 2, no, for sure. Hey, Bre, listen, this is fire. This is what I aspire to have come be a part of the the podcast. I relaunched the podcast with the purpose of staying true to talking to people that I truly care to hear them speak. Aww. And you are, of course, being on it, you are one of them people, or those people. So I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to be a part of the podcast. Let the people know how they can get in touch with you and contact you for services.
I don't even want this to end, all right? We've had so much fun, and I'm so glad that you even wanted me to be on this podcast. I'm honored to even be speaking, telling my truth. My name is Bre Gaither, again, broker owner of BG Luxe Realty. You can find me at Queen Realtor Bre on all platforms. That is YouTube, that is Instagram, that is TikTok, that is all the platforms. Queen Realtor Bre. I'll probably never change that name. And BreGaither.com is my website. I also have a firm website, BGLuxeRealty.com. We are hiring, all right? And we're just here to live life, living your truth. If anybody, needs anything, I have an open door policy. I answer my phone. So yeah, can't wait to connect with all of you guys.
Love it. Thank you so much, Bre Gaither. Again, you guys already know you can reach me on all platforms at Soul by Rel, and then Bre brought it up, but if you want to, go ahead and follow the golf page too, the Charlotte Golfer. But other than that, Bre, we're gonna wrap this up, and I'm just super appreciative. So thank you again. Till next time, everybody.
Signing out.